take a drive to Simpson County and see Crocker Farm Winery. It's a farm full of diversification, but what we're going to be highlighting today are his wine grapes, his vineyard, and Brittany is going to take a trip out there, and he's also going to make some fondue with her, so stay tuned.
We planted our first vineyard, the one that you see at the top, in 1999. So the vines are 16 years old. They're about bigger as my arm. This variety right here, the French bred this grape in the early 1900s. And this came from a cutting from Western. They grow this, it's called Vineyard Blanc, and we make a Vineyard Blanc wine. But this just shows you the nature of the vine. Even the vines that grow wild in the woods here, they have these tendrils that they reach up.
How many varieties do you have here?
We have six.
6 varieties.
6 varieties.
And how many varieties of wine flavors do you have?
6.
6 too, okay.
Yeah. We name them by the grape.
Is that what you name them?
And that's called the varietal system. If you name them by, you can make up a blend and just call it anything you want. You know, a whimsical name, but if you name it according to the grape it came from, that's the variety. That's what, like Cabernet Sauvignon, that is that grape.
So you kind of know what you're drinking.
Well, you know what 3/4 of it has to be that variety.
So you've got your vineyard, and I see you've got your puppies. You got those around. You call them all puppy. And so what else do you all do here? So I know that you've got some music, and you've had a wedding just recently.
We had a wedding, and it was a little stressful for us, but I think that the bride and groom were not stressed at all. Wedding rehearsal, dinners, all that kind of thing.
Tell us why you do all of this. It's a lot of work.
We got into the grapes because they were paying half the cost to establish a vineyard, and we thought, we got a farm, and we thought that had to be a good idea. And it turns out grapes are a tremendous amount of work. They're just constant. And then we needed something to do with the grapes. We sold to winemakers, and they liked the grapes, and we started making some homemade wine. And so it's been 5 years since we got our license to make wine, and we started selling at the Sky Farmers Market 5 years ago. We sell lamb and wine. People come through, they can taste wine, and it's just a fun and friendly environment. Fondue means to melt in French. Get on Martha Stewart Living, I think her recipe had 10 or 11 ingredients, and hers just has about 3.
So we've got about a half a cup of your cooking wine in here, right?
The cooking wine. If you add too much, it's too thin, and you can't get it thicken up.
So that smooth texture that you see in a fondue is probably because of the acid in the wine, like you explained. Okay, so we're using an aged cheddar.
I'm gonna go ahead and put the.
You want to put the wine on first?
We've got the stove started.
Do you think we need a little bit more, or you think that's good?
No, I think that's gonna be about right.
Okay.
We can always add a little bit more wine, I think.
You know, when you can enjoy a local wine and then a local cheese as well, that really is such a fun night to have your friends over and do some tasting and that sort of thing.
This would be a good job for a food processor to, if you had a bunch, but that'd just be a lot more stuff to clean up.
Are you always trying new recipes with your wine, or do you have, the handful of favorites that are your go-tos?
We like to experiment around, and my daughter really likes to cook, and she's a good cook, much better than me. Okay, this is French bread we make, and we sell it at the farmer's market actually. But it's got 4 ingredients: flour, salt, water, and yeast. It rises 3 times. It rises in the refrigerator. The next day we plop it down and eat it, and let it rise again, punch it down, let it rise one more time, and then cook it in a cast iron skillet. And that brings out the steam, gives it that chewy crust, and it's good. Just start adding a little bit.
Like how much is a little bit?
Just a third,
like a handful?
Third of it. You can take that over there, I bet you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get a little bit of cornstarch, and we're gonna add that in with a fork.
Okay.
Yeah, right to the cheese. And I don't know. I don't think you see this on Rachel Ray, but just a little bit of cornstarch for some little added thickening power. And we're trying to keep our mess to a minimum, because all we want is a snack. We want it to be good. Okay, here's the cornstarch and extra cheese. And now the alcohol disappears real fast.
Let me put it back over here.
Put it back over here. Now if you had a table setting, like some people sitting at the table in there, and they were ahead of a meal, you get it just to the consistency you want it, and come out and let them dip it right out of the pan. If you have one of those fancy fondue pots, I'm sure that would be really neat to use the fondue pot.
But you want to eat it right when it, well, and if you can keep it on the heat while you kind of snack on it, would really probably be the ultimate way.
It'll stay really nice for 30 or 40 minutes.
You know, there for a few seconds, you could really smell the wine. I don't know if did it reach a certain temperature and that's what caused?
You can still get it.
So while our fondue continues to heat and continues to melt, we're going to do a little tasting. Is that right?
Same wine
from
different years. And this was 2013. This is 2014. We just bottled that about 2 weeks ago. The Western students were out here. We opened that up about 2 or 3 days ago. It's crisp, got a little citrus. It's from a grape named Reliance.
Okay.
And
I don't know if I can pronounce that.
We call it Reliance table wine.
Reliance.
But let's dump that out.
Okay.
And just dump it over here in the sink, since we're trying to keep a clear head.
Like that, it went down easy, you know?
That's a good back porch wine, you know, a social wine for just sipping.
Is that a bestseller?
We have not sold the first bottle of that 2014, but I think it's going to sell pretty good.
You think it? So is that even at the market yet?
It will be next Saturday.
Is the first Saturday, so it's new.
It's just been bottled. Okay, now this is the acidic cooking wine. Now we have a red cooking wine that's really acidic, made from the Chamberson grape that Western WKU has, and it's a more versatile cooking wine than this one.
Yeah, you can taste a big difference.
Just got so much more pucker, more flavor, tartar. It may not be the one you enjoy sitting around drinking, but that's what makes it a special cooking wine. The less tart is the more desirable, and we try to, as the grapes ripen, the acid drops to where it makes that real nice, enjoyable, sweet sipping wine. And this one, we were forced to harvest it before it fully ripened, just climate and rain, and all we ended up with was a really good cooking wine. But and I can drink it. Some people, really like the really dry, high acid wines to sip on. But hey, we're doing pretty good here, and I think this will keep. It's not separating. You see, if that were just a regular cheese sauce, it would have separated.
It would have.
And what we're looking for, we're going to break up.
Breaking bread.
Breaking the bread. I'm going to get you to do it.
I can do that.
And to just little small pieces, and we're going to use these 2 forks right here, and just dip them down in there just like country people. Now set it right on that plate.
And let it cool. Let me get you one
minute.
ready.
Get me one. Get Brandon one. He's having to do all the filming.
Really good.
I just add a little bit more wine.
So what are some other recipes that you always cook for your family that you use your wine?
The wine, I'll tell you what, any kind of creamy sauce, this is a really good wine to use. Alfredo. But the other color is the red. And I don't care if you're making spaghetti or if you're making chili. You can add that Chamberson cooking wine, and we've got chefs using that stuff.
I bet it just really enhances the flavor.
Yeah, it brings it up. The tomato does the same thing, but the wine can add an extra punch of acid, and it really is. I don't think anybody really knows what it does, but you get some flavors out of it. I think I got enough wine in it now.
Okay, so I believe it. You are really good in the kitchen.
Your macaroni and cheese doesn't taste like that, does it?